Welcome to Main Street Minds with your host, Amish Munshi. This is where industry leaders and seasoned pros share their secrets to success beyond limits. Let's dive in.
Hello and welcome to Main Street Minds. Today we have Burton Smith over here, all the way from Columbus, Ohio, one of my most favorite places. It reminds me of going back and like tinkering in my data center in Columbus and like doing real technical work, hands-on stuff, right? So I love that, and it just brings like some very good old memories from less than 10 years ago. I was right there. So welcome, Burton. Thanks for joining on a busy Friday. I'll open up the floor, and without any further delay, I'll let you introduce yourself and share your journey.
Thanks. Yeah. Like I said, my name is Burton Smith. I am also a transplant to Ohio. So this is not my original home, and I love it too. It's great here. We love the people and the communities out here. I currently work at Microsoft. I've been here for about 3 years. I work on design systems and web components and building out scalable user experiences for teams across Microsoft.
Sweet, perfect, awesome. So what does your day-to-day job involve now?
So on a regular basis, we're a very horizontal team in terms of we touch a lot of teams. So we're a very small team, but our reach is very broad. So on a regular basis, we meet with various stakeholders that are using our component systems or our design systems, and as well as design teams and other people who need to be able to build with what we're providing them. So on a regular basis, we have scheduled meetings where we set up time to learn about what their needs are, what their ecosystem is like, and we just work with them on helping them succeed. That's really what our job is to help them be successful with whatever they're trying to do.
Awesome. So do you have to like do more of customer visits as well, or it's still within the company?
Still within the company, yeah. So our customers are actually the other Microsoft employees. So we build components for other Microsoft engineers to build user interfaces with. So a lot of our visits and interactions are really just quick meetings or impersonal chats here and there, so that we can get a good understanding of whatever their goals are, and so we can help them work towards them.
Awesome. So, how did you reach this level of success? Like, where did you start, and how did you reach this stage?
It's a good question. I guess it depends on how far back we want to go. When I was a little kid, no, I won't go back that far. But no, really, it's kind of a weird story. I originally started out as a customer service representative, working and what we called sales support. We had sales reps out in the field, and I was their kind of in-house person. And one day I just took a class on advanced Excel and intro to databases, and I was hooked. I was like, man, this is amazing. I can do powerful things with technology. This is so great. But the only challenge was, again, I was still a customer service rep, and everyone thought of me as a customer service rep. And it was frustrating for me because I wanted to build great things and I wanted to do great things, but I was kind of trapped, I felt, where I was. And there was a moment where I was, really, really frustrated because I wasn't where I wanted to be in my career. I knew I wanted to be in technology. I knew I wanted to build stuff, and build software, but I wasn't getting the opportunities that I wanted. And one day I randomly came across a quote from Albert Einstein, and it goes, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
Match the frequency of the reality that you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. It can be nothing. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. This is physics. And so that stuck to me. I'm like, oh, I need to change my frequency. I'm in a customer service frequency. I need to be in a tech frequency. And so what I started doing is I just started raising my hand for anything that was tech related. They're like, "Hey, who's going to fix the printer?" And I raised my hand. "Hey, who's going to migrate this Excel spreadsheet to labels or whatever it is?" If it was tech related, I just kept raising my hand over and over again. And it soon got to the point where everyone started viewing me as the tech person instead of the customer service person. And I started getting more access to things like tools, so I can start building out things. We went through an acquisition where um, we we had all of these great tools at the company that we were at before, and when we got purchased, they're like, "Oh, don't worry, you won't need all of those tools. We have all the tools in place that you'll need," and we were really excited. We had these great user interfaces to capture and log information and capture our customer information, CRM systems. And when we went to the new company, we're like, "Okay, where's these great tools that you guys were talking about?" And they handed us a piece of paper and they were like, "Okay, fill this out. You're going to scan it, email it to this person. They're going to print it out. They're going to fill it out by hand, and they're going to email it back to you. And then you have to type it in over here." And then we're like, "Wait, this is your great system? This doesn't make sense. Like, this is a huge downgrade for us." And so finally, I was like, "Hey, I can build stuff if you give me access to the tools.
Hmm.
I can rebuild what we had and maybe even do better than what we had before." And sure enough, because I was now known as more of the tech person than I was the customer service person, they gave me tools and they gave me access to things. And I started building out more and more tools. And I started getting a reputation across not just the company, the part of the organization that I was in, but across the organization as someone who can build things and solve problems with technology. And that's when they finally graduated me into being a full-time software engineer. And that's how I got my first gig within that same company.
Nice, nice. A lot of people get stuck on saying it, just as you mentioned, right? And I think that's a very important lesson to learn. Saying, it's you start off with what you think you like, but if that's not the right thing, if you have an inclination of doing something different, there is, it's not easy to make that transition, right? But I think
Mhm.
what you mentioned is extremely important. If you start behaving as if you already belong there, then the world will just help you get there.
Yes, yeah, and it's there's a lot of negative thoughts around the idea of fake it till you make it. And I don't think I was trying to fake anything. I just really wanted to change people's perceptions of me a little bit, and I wanted to grow and learn into that environment. And so I put myself in that environment. I
Mhm.
changed my mentality of how I wanted to interact with that environment, and it definitely made the change for me.
Yeah, and I would say it's not very easy because if somebody's working the way they are working, like if you're doing a little more of the customer support work,
Mhm.
doing software development, it needs a very different mindset. It's not an easy transition.
Yep.
So, but I think if there is deep desire to be that person and be that professional, it will just happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And it's interesting because I saw as I started doing it, I saw my mentality shift, right?
Mhm.
When I started doing more software engineering, I started listening to more software engineering podcasts and reading more software engineering articles. And I started learning the language of a software engineer and how they speak about things and how
Mhm.
they analyze problems and things like that. And as I started learning those things, again, my frequency changed that much more so that I could resonate with that. And when I got around other software engineers, I could resonate with them, right? And we can geek out together and things like that. And I think that was really important too.
Yeah, that is great. So, how long have you been with Microsoft right now?
So I've been with Microsoft a little over 3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sweet. Yeah. So how and I think earlier you were with like a slightly smaller company. That also in tech, like the
it
company itself.
was. The company itself was actually a distribution company, so they did a lot of warehousing distribution. But I worked on their content management and e-commerce platforms
Okay.
in the
Yeah,
web.
and that's the one that gave you the opportunity to do development. Sweet.
Yeah.
Wow, that is great because like just having the experience of working in a non-tech environment and the tech environment? Like, can you compare and contrast? Like, what's the difference? Is one career better than the other, or like, what are the benefits of each one?
Um, yeah, so the interesting thing is, going from a company that is a distribution company where, things like sales and warehousing and things like that, those are top of mind typically for the company,
Mhm.
not software. Software is kind of the secondary
Yeah,
thought when it comes to products that they're offering or features that they're offering. And then going somewhere like Microsoft, where software is their product and
yeah.
software engineers build their product, like the level of focus and care that goes into the product development is amazing. One of the things that struck me right off the bat when I came in is, the amount of emphasis that goes into things like accessibility, so
Mhm.
that our applications can be used by a broad spectrum of users, and making
Mhm.
sure that they're useful and usable for anyone. The amount of thought that goes into it on micro since being at Microsoft has just blown me away. Like that's been great to see. Whereas previously it's been kind of an afterthought. Okay, well maybe we can add a plugin to add that accessibility or whatever. It's kind of a secondary ask. Whereas here it's primary, and so it's really cool to see. Um, you know, Software be a first class citizen in terms of
Mhm.
product.
Yeah, awesome. So, what? How? I think so. I would assume you've been doing this for close to 5 to 7 years now, just development at least.
Ooh, I'm coming up on like 15.
15. Oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry, because I thought
It's
you
been a
were.
long time. Yeah, no, so I doing all that stuff that I was talking about, customer service and things like that. That was I was at my previous company before Microsoft for about 10 years.
Okay.
So it was a good while that I
Maybe I
was I
made the
was
full
working there.
7 years right there in the middle, the last experience you had. I think
Yeah.
I'll add that. Yeah. So, how does it feel to be in development for 15 years? Like, do you ever feel like, okay, you need to do something different, or like, or is this like just such a big field that you're just happy being within development?
That's a good question. So I love software engineering. Like I really enjoy solving problems with technology. I just think there's just so many cool things you can do with it. Um, and I right now I know there's some people who after a certain point get tired of trying to keep up with all the new technology and everything, and they go into management positions and things like that. And or some people are just really good at management. I haven't gotten that itch yet. I really love software engineering still, and I want to keep at it for as long as I can, I think. And um, yeah, I've just really, really, really enjoyed it. And I think there's still a lot of opportunities for learning and development. I've tried to expand my knowledge. One of the things I really love doing is working with web components and design systems. And I think those are kind of two new areas that have a lot of growth opportunity in them. And so it's been really fun expanding my knowledge in there and trying to specialize. Before, when I was at my last company, I was a full stack engineer. I did everything from database and server
Mm-hmm.
configuration all the way down to CSS on the front end, right? I was just
Yeah.
ran the gambit all the time, and I won't lie, it was kind of exhausting. It was a lot of context switching, a lot of move switching from one tech to another multiple times a day. And since being at Microsoft, my scope has narrowed significantly, where I'm really dialed in and focused on
Mm-hmm.
a niche part of the stack, right? I'm very front of the front end, if you're familiar with that term.
Yeah.
Um, and it has been really fun just being able to deep dive on a technology and get really intimate with the different facets of it and
Mm-hmm.
understanding it with a lot of depth. And that's since being at Microsoft, that's kind of what I've been doing, is really going deep instead of just trying to go broad with my
Mm-hmm.
knowledge.
Yeah, and I think the entire interface between human and computer, like the is there's just so much potential that's coming up. Like it could be voice, it could be AR, it could be VR, it could be, but there is still like the neural networks that are there. And with OpenAI coming in between all of this and integrating and being the fabric of everything, like
Mhm.
I think it's going to be a very interesting next, I would say at least 3 decades. It's going to
Yeah.
be, there is just so much happening.
Yeah, definitely. We're going through a new evolution, right? There's a new growth, rapid growth period that we're going to start experiencing with all this technology coming up. It's been kind of wild to watch for sure.
Yeah. So on a day-to-day basis, like what motivates you to like go ahead and do something? Like what is it that would like you just wish like your team would ask you to help out with something that you're very passionate about?
Mm. So one thing that I love is I like uh, unlocking things for
Mhm.
developers, freeing them up to be able to do something new,
Mhm.
or removing something that was previously a roadblock or something that would slow them down. So I've really enjoyed building developer tooling so that developers can be accelerated with
Mhm.
what they're working on. So I've when somebody comes to me with a problem, they're like, "Hey, here's something that we're having a hard time with." I love being able to be like, "Hey, I built this thing, so now you no longer have to worry about that. It's done automatically for you. You can focus on the thing that you love to do
Yeah.
because this unlocks you now." So I've always really enjoyed freeing up that capacity and potential for developers as they've tried to move through their journeys.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. So yeah, so everyone listening to this, if you're working with Burton, reach out to him with more similar things. He has solutions waiting for you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's one of the reasons why I've tried to, as much as I can, open source the work that I've worked on, right?
Mhm.
Any of the tools that I'm building or any of the things that have solved problems for me throughout my journey, I've tried to open source and say, hey, you guys can use what I've learned, and take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember some development I did a long time ago where this is very very long time ago. Like a customer had a barcode scanner written in
Mm.
C sharp, and my task was to migrate them to Linux. And I was like, holy crap! Like how do we get this physical hardware thing integrated with this is like 2006 or
Mhm.
2007, like long time ago. C sharp itself was new.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's
it was fun.
That's funny that you say that because I actually helped integrate a barcode scanner in C sharp as well early in my career. That's funny. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, cool. So going forward, like what do you see the most important pieces of skill sets, that technical skill sets that a person should have entering the tech world?
I would say, at least for me, the thing that has probably served me the best is curiosity
Mm-hmm.
and the ability to try to stay as curious and as open-minded about something as possible. It's really easy. I found myself doing this a lot. I go into a new piece of tech or I start working on a new project and I'm like, what are these people thinking? Like, what, and I get kind of negative and I start judging uh, the implementation, and I've realized that that is kind of the opposite of the curiosity mindset. And as soon as I switch that mode back to being curious again, it opens me up to thinking about, well, instead of like what were they thinking, it was really what were they thinking, like what happened that made
Mm-hmm.
them lead to this. Obviously there was a reason. So the more curious I am about it, the more open I am to understanding what's going on, the easier it is for me to learn and accelerate in whatever area I'm working in. So, always being willing and open to learning and always being open with a curious mindset, that has probably been my greatest tool that I've been able to use.
Sweet, sweet. Sounds great. So that is a very important point. Like just approaching things the right way, right? Saying,
Mm.
uh, uh, I initially like just thinking about like blockchain and cryptocurrency. Like I was like, why do we have so many of them? Isn't it all like the same thing? Like it's just way, medium to like transact, like. And then I was like, okay, fundamentally there is a different purpose that each cryptocurrency solves, and that hopefully there will be one currency that kind of works and gets adopted, or maybe there is multiple currencies, we don't know, but there is a reason why each one exists, and they are
Mhm.
trying to solve the philosophy of why currency is even needed, rather than saying, okay, like let's just transact about with it.
So
Yeah.
you're a better man than I am because I'm still like, wait, why do we need this again?
Yeah. I see the advantage of it, but yeah, like like the core concept, I still don't use crypto anywhere.
Yeah,
But I understand the reasoning for it. I think the blockchain, the technology has a lot of potential, especially like in real estate that I do. It
sure.
would be really cool if we could be using blockchain and like having different people own a set of like have partial ownership in a property, right?
Hmm.
Then it will not, and it will be easier to transact real estate. Like it just takes so long to do a transaction in real estate. For like just doing a title search still takes 3 days, and
Mm.
it's all the information is in one database, but it still takes 3 days to figure out who the old owner was, who the new owner is. Is it
Yeah.
like the concept of blockchain will be very, very applicable to real estate, and hopefully someday it will materialize.
Oh, that's cool. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, like because like currently within real estate, what ends up happening is when a property gets transferred, there are transfer taxes, and then there is loans against the property. So they need kind of a personal guarantee of whoever owns it. But if the ownership changes, all of this gets impacted,
Hmm.
and that's why it's not easy to do partial changes.
Mm.
Like somebody can't just say, "Oh, I have 10% share of this property, but I want to sell my share, and somebody else is going to buy it." Is the city and the county losing out on property taxes?
Oh, yeah.
Like if we can go down to a transactional level over there and like do some automations and do some transaction management with the blockchain, I think the transfer of title, the sense of ownership, the percentage of ownership, I think the underlying concept of blockchain will be like super, super cool for real estate.
Yeah. So the concept, the property is the currency, kind of, right?
Yeah. It's
That's
asset is an
cool.
asset. An asset
Yeah.
could
Hmm.
be used for transacting something,
Hmm.
or the asset itself could be transacted.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully, but it just needs very, very big major changes in the entire industry. So it's going to be heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Cool. So coming back to you, like for the next 5 to 10 years, like where do you see yourself? Like what would you continue to like to do? And
That's a really good question. And it's funny because that you asked that because with this whole like AI revolution and everything that's happening with it, I feel like there's just a lot of uncertainty that comes with that, right?
Mhm.
Well, what will the role of a software engineer be in 5 to 10 years?
Yeah.
And I'm not entirely sure. So I've been having to do some soul searching and think about what it is that I actually like doing. And I honestly don't know. I would love to, you know, continue down the path of software engineering and developing um, great software, great tooling, and seeing if, right now I'm using AI, taking advantage of AI to help me do that. Whether or not it will replace me, I honestly don't know, but it's a pretty good tool right now. It's not perfect, but it is a good helper. But I don't know. Maybe I'll keep building software until I can, and then I'll start a new business and have my AI bots build me software. And I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be more helpful. Like I can imagine like me saying talking to some AI bot saying, "Hey, develop something for me,"
Hmm.
and I wish it can just do the entire development and make changes to it as well, right? So like I think you are in the perfect spot where you might be able to like experiment with something like that and see how it goes.
Yeah.
It's like a wishful thinking, obviously. Once we start actually using it, we fall on our face so badly, saying this is what was I thinking?
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, the thing, so I again, I love software engineering. So the thought of something taking that away from me is saddens me at this point in my career. So I don't want that to happen, but at the same time, like I love the creativity aspect of it, and I think I could still be quite creative
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
you
there
know,
will always
innovative with it.
be. Yeah, I think the aspect that a human being is never even able to articulate their business requirements accurately.
Yeah.
So I think that level of understanding and a human interface between what a business is requiring and transferring that into, instead of just typing it, you might be able to just speak with some
Hmm.
thing. I don't know what to call it, a thing maybe. Uh, like I think your role might be it will still need more of your skill set. I think more of your experience and the skill set. It's just
Mhm.
that instead of a keyboard, it might be something that you might be speaking with, something that you might be telling, and some hopefully the mundane work is being done by the AI bot.
Yeah. Yeah. And that seems like a very real possibility in the near future.
Yeah, yeah, sounds great. So, what do you like to do in your free time?
Let's see. In my free time, I have a wife and three daughters that keep me very busy right now. They're between their sports and other activities I spend a lot of time there. I also do a lot of open source work, so there's a lot of my free time that goes into contributing back to those open source projects that I've created, and I really enjoy. I know that's super nerdy, and I know people are like, "Wait, you're a software engineer at work, and then you software engineer for fun?" Yes, I'm that nerdy. I love
I can
doing that.
relate to that. I think a lot of us can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, when I have free time, I love to jump on and hack at stuff and build stuff
What are some of the open source projects you're working on right now?
so one of them is called the Web Component Toolkit, and
Mm-hmm.
it is a series of tools designed to uh, make working with web components better.
Mm-hmm.
So the promise of web components are, we have custom HTML elements that we create that we can use anywhere, right? We can use them in our React projects, we can use them in our .NET projects, we can use them in our Angular
Interesting.
projects.
Yeah.
And in a sense, they do that, but there's a lot of experience that's lost when you use those, right? We lose a lot of the great autocomplete and
Mm-hmm.
IntelliSense and those kind of features with our web components. Um, and so for the last couple of years since working at Microsoft, I've been trying to close that gap, right? Really catch web components up to standard framework components so that they look and feel like you would with regular HTML or even with your framework components within the environment. So yeah, the Web Components Toolkit is a suite of tools to make your web components really easy to use and really developer friendly.
Yeah, that is a great cause. I does that mean like do you feel the need of having similar interfaces like between all these different I would say languages or frameworks? Uh, that will be really cool if there was like some commonality that could be implemented across different frameworks.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting because I've noticed that um, different frameworks have different levels of capability for adopting and making these web components expressive. So you don't always get the same experience, and that's kind of been a,
Yeah.
a point of contention for me. I wish they were all had a great experience. So that's what I've been working on is try to make them all have a really great experience.
Yeah, yeah. And does the underlying technology matter? Like different languages, like is it possible to like how complex is it?
It can be pretty complex.
Yeah.
It's part of it too. So I'm working on a new tool coming up here soon called the Web Components Language Server.
Mm-hmm.
And what that is hopefully that's the thing that takes us the rest of the way. I've gotten pretty close to where they have a good experience, but they're not all the same. So I want to be able to close that gap. Now that one's unique because it's actually integrating with the development environment. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a special implementation for VS Code, special implementation for JetBrains IDEs like WebStorm
Mm-hmm.
and Writer and IntelliJ, and then there's a separate one for NeoVim and Vim, and so at that point you're creating implementations directly in the editor
Mm-hmm.
and you're teaching the editor about your custom elements, so then it can, you know about these new elements that you're adding into its environment and can inform the user when they have they're not using the APIs correctly, they have a bad input value for an API,
Mm-hmm.
or the autocomplete. So if they want to be able to type in the tags and have Emmet autocomplete it, or have documentation directly in the editor about what your components are and how they work. Like those things I think are important for developers to have, and they really help developers be productive. And I think that's what the goal is to try to increase the productivity and the developer experience when using these.
Great, nice. Yeah. And are you seeing any more integrations between the different devices? Like how much of a difference is it to develop something for the smartwatch versus the laptop desktops versus a VR AR headset, or I can't even think of other interfaces right now, but like do you see anything making it easier to develop across these different things?
In terms of uh, development environments, or
the actual components being used. Like if I have
yeah.
a label on a web page, is with like do you have to like do developers, is there any way to make that easier? Like I'm assuming people just do a complete separate development for a smartwatch, complete separate development
Mm.
for uh, uh like a laptop or a desktop. uh a
Yeah,
little
so
bit might transition into the AR VR headset because it's too new, but I'm sure there will be complete new spin-off of things that will happen over there.
yeah, there's some really interesting tools out there for these cross-environment development. I know the Ionic team, they have the capacitor JS, which is a tool for being able to build mobile apps with
Mm-hmm.
web technology. And basically it's a wrapper around the web view, so that you can use your components in that environment. Or,
Mm-hmm.
you get your electrons or your um, oh, what's the other one? There's another newer one that came out that's built with Rust that allows you to, again, use web technology to be able to build UIs for native environments. And it's interesting the amount of push um, to get teams to be able to be cross-functional in each of these environments. And the web seems to a lot of times be the common language for a lot of
Yeah.
these things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I just saw a new one that's come out recently. I think it's like Lynx or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
Lynx. And they're creating web technologies that can run, cross environment, cross platform. And I'm like, wow, this is great, because this is stuff that I think allow us to reuse our skill sets and allow us to be more productive across different platforms. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, yeah. Even if it's like something simple, right? Like just notifying the user about something, getting a quick input on saying, hey, like as an example, I received an email saying, "Am I going to allow my daughter to go and watch a movie on Friday night in the school?" Like I wish I could just do that on my with that interface on the watch, or
Yeah.
on like I don't want to like pick up the phone, because once I pick up the phone, I'm on it for half an hour doing everything I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Getting a watch has been something that has saved me so much time because I don't even look at my phone for the time anymore. I look at my watch, because when
Yeah.
I look at my phone, man, that would same thing
That's
suck me in, and I can get out. Yeah,
yeah,
it's been
yeah,
great.
yeah. I used to do like two-factor authentication and like single sign-on. Like that's what my tech career was. And then
Mhm.
afterwards, I was like, holy crap! Whenever two-factor authentication came up, like if I had to like make a user go and like say go and pick up your phone, accept it, more than likely they were on this thing for 10 minutes and that login is already gone.
Expired.
And the next thing is like they have to send it again, and then they're again on the phone for 10 minutes. I was like, am I improving their lives anymore?
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but so yeah, it was always interesting. Like if we can do more of make users' life easier in hopefully not only easier, but in a productive way as well. Yeah. So yeah, apart from that, what's the best way somebody can reach you?
So I'm on social media. I'm on Mastodon, Blue Sky, Twitter. My handle's usually at Stuffbreaker. And you can find me on LinkedIn as well. I'm Burton Smith, and I'm one of the ones that works at Microsoft. There's one that used to work in Microsoft who has since passed away. So I'm not that one. I am the one that's still alive. So yeah.
Cool. And I'll include your LinkedIn links as well in the description below. So before we depart, any other final words that you would like to share with the audience?
Feel free to reach out and join the community. There's great conversations about design systems and web components, and share your ideas. Be public with your ideas. Use your GitHub and share what you're working on, and be open about that stuff. There are people who are not super great about feedback and things like that, but overall, that's been one of the things that has been a great learning experience for me is sharing my work. So feel free to share.
Yeah, thanks. And I can feel the passion about what you do, and I love love how dedicated you are to doing and making change in a collaborative way to make things happen. So thanks for doing that.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on Main Street Minds on a busy Friday. I really appreciate it, taking time off from work and like helping us with helping the community back. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Main Street Minds. Want to share your journey with our audience? Head over to mainstreetmindspodcast.com/guest to apply.